Hey, we've Fadz in the house.
Hi everyone.
Fadz, your name is too close to Fadz.
Mhm.
You have to change it.
Just change the A to a U. Buds works. I've been hanging out in the Filipino chat for the last few days. Much more interesting in there, even though I don't speak a word of Filipino.
Are you Google translating it?
Yeah, it's great fun. Well, great fun for them. I haven't a clue what I'm saying.
No.
Yeah, I
You
told some
chasing
fella.
away an entire race from the server.
Oh, it's great fun.
Hey, Pete.
Sorry I'm late.
Good
What
day,
am-
Royal Pineapple.
Unacceptable.
No excuses, Mr. Pineapple.
Oh, I got the best excuse in the world. I was with Benny.
Stuck
That's why
in a
he's
vault.
late as well. Sorry.
I mean, Benny's got to vouch for you.
Yeah.
We can't take
He
your
was
word
with me.
for it. Ah. All right, you're good this time.
He was with me. He was with me.
All right,
Alibi
Benny's starting
accepted.
to have a bunch of kids like Pete in the background.
I've got one kid in the background. He's a pretty loud kid even when he's sleeping. But yeah, just the one. Okay, so how is everybody doing? Cool. We've got a couple of things to go through tonight, which is good. Quality sounds pretty good. Excellent. So we've got a couple of things to go through tonight. So we can go through those in a second because one of the things is kind of cool. What we might start with is Pete. For those who don't know, Pete can do a little bit of an introduction on something that is going to bring some. We've got a lot of different projects doing NFTs through the Whitelabel platform. We've got people coming in doing games. So Pete can give us a little bit of a rundown on something that he's helping to advise. Pete, do you want to give a little bit of a intro and a spoiler?
Oh yeah, sure. Some of you I think may have heard of this, and some of you have not. But yeah, just to bring everyone up to speed, I'm advising a small games developer studio on developing an NFT game, and that game is an RPG game that is both on mobile and web, and you would use NFT characters as a part of the game. So you'll buy NFTs. I mean, you'll buy the NFTs, and then you'll use the NFTs characters in the game, and then you could play just like any mobile / web RPG. So you go around, kill monsters, get. Guild of Guardians is run by Pete. No, that is not me, Lars. So yeah, so the project's name is called Final Dungeon, and since I'm advising, I'm trying to get them to also bring in RFOX and KOGs utility into the game itself. Question for the pitch. Okay, that one is the after. So okay, I've seen that people have posted some pictures. Anyways, the URL for that is finaldungeon.xyz. Let me type that out. Hold on. Yeah, that's the link to the thing, and there's a sales page for there. Sales for packs are going on in Wax as well as RFOX. If you guys want to buy, RFOX on Wax only, not for. And for a spoiler alert, I think Benny mentioned that I'll share a spoiler. There was an airdrop on this platform, and we're doing giveaways. I'll do a giveaway later for this project. There are stickers that you will eventually use as avatars in the game, profile pictures. So let me see. There's a bunch of questions. Okay, Guild of Guardians. Okay, that's not me. Madame posted a picture. Question for After Pete's awesome project. Benny, you tease about revised economic model, tokenomics of VFOX. Okay, this one I will paste. I will take note of this and I'll ask Benny once he comes back. And then
I'm here.
okay, so Benny, Benny, you tease about a revised economic model / tokenomics for
Yes.
VFOX. When will we learn about
Yes.
this? When white paper?
Very soon. So I'm going to finish the draft version tonight, and then that will be circulated amongst our team to poke holes in it and make sure that it all makes sense. And as stated to you, had some amazing help from Red Pill. So now it's just a matter of putting that all together, making sure that it makes perfect sense and the back math is done, and then we can not only tease about it, but we can show you.
Okay, this one that I think I can take. RFOX has its own blockchain or running on which blockchain? So RFOX does not have our own blockchain. We are currently running our token on 3 different blockchains: Ethereum, BSC, and WAX. So if the main chain that we're running it on is Ethereum, that's where our supply is calculated. And you could bridge RFOX from Ethereum to BSC or WAX via the bridges that are available. Nice. Wait, are they on sale? Yes, they're on sale, PJ. Are they using the NFT platform? Is that with regards to Final Dungeon?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's not using the NFT platform because the NFT platform's first blockchain is ETH, and they're running on WAX, so they're not using the NFT platform, but they will be using the NFT marketplace once that goes live. Play to earn or play to fun? It's a play to earn game, but not in a traditional play to earn game like how you would think like AW or even KOGs, right? There is no token for this game. The team decided not to go with a token, and I thought it's a novel way of doing things. It will be play to earn for NFTs. So you'll be using NFTs. You'll be playing to earn to get NFTs, and then you could use the NFTs to power your team, or you could sell. Up to you. So you'll be earning NFTs as you go, and after after a while, the team plans to stop all sales for NFTs and then drive into a community model where the community earns the NFTs from the events in the game and whatnot, and then that fuels all the NFTs moving forward. There is no like pack sales later on in the game's life cycle, other than when new features come out. Packs for sale, and I can use RFOX on my Wax blockchain to buy them. Yes, Atish, you can use RFOX on the Wax blockchain to buy them. If you don't have RFOX on the Wax blockchain, you can use Wax to buy the packs as well. The drop page is all actually on the website itself. Want me to share the link to Final Dungeon Discord page? Yeah, sure, CryptoJ, why not? Just link it there. CryptoJ has been a great help setting up our Discord, the Discord for Final Dungeon. Do your kids have a mute button, Adler? Yes, hold on. Hey, kids, lower down your volume. Polygon, any plans? That's by Sky, no. No, they only come with full sound blast modus. Any updates for the Vault? Josh, you should get updates like from the horse's mouth, right? You don't have to wait for me.
Yeah, actually, one of the updates for the Vault, we're trying to. We might have something to spoil or show. I'm just trying to
Morning,
trying to
Ramses.
organise that now.
Hello, Ramses.
I'm nearly there. Nearly there. That's a good. Some of these gifts are fantastic. Questions. Sorry, I'm distracted for one more minute. I'm nearly done. It'll be worth it. So Pete, you got the answers for one more minute?
Yeah, I mean, we can wait. Yeah, nothing new. I mean, other than your face plastered on the Nyan cat.
Is that what it's called, a Nyan cat?
Yeah, Nyan cat, that rainbow cat. This will be Nyan Fox.
Is the thoughts on the revision of VFOX scrapping what we already know? No. It's more about providing more. So the whole idea of anything that we do like that, as you know, is we want to make sure that we're providing value. And one of the things that I've said since the beginning of this year's addresses is that want to make sure that we concentrate heavily on providing value back to the early investors. So that's exactly what anything that we do going forwards or put into place, that's what we're looking at doing. So this would add further value. So that's exactly what we're trying to do. And this would not actually scrap anything that you already know. It would enhance, it would be something extra. It's quite a few layers, which is really good. And there'll be a fair bit of game theory to it. But ultimately, we had stated before that we want to make sure that we're making a lot of value for people in the ecosystem, and different people want to interact in different ways. So there won't only be, as we talked about with the Vault, there'll be shop owners, but there'll be people that go in there and frequent the actual Vault for shopping or events or a number of different things. And what we want to do is make it so that multiple people can get involved on different levels. So it's not just one character type or one person type. Have all of the shop owners for Callinova Qtr come forward, or are there still a few that haven't? What are the next steps if they don't? I think they pretty much have. I think we've managed to locate all. Some people don't. I've talked about this before. It probably isn't something that is accepted very well, but a lot of people don't frequent Discord and Telegram channels, like community channels. And like I told you, I've got a lot of friends that are very big investors. They don't go into any of these types of channels, purely based on the fact that their view is they're not going to get swayed by sentiment. They invest based on whatever reason, and they don't feel as though a lot of the channels because a lot of channels, as you know, are quite emotive, so they don't go into these types of channels. I'd rather just reach out to the project and say, when's it going live? When can we get our hands on stuff? And what do we have to do next? So, and especially brands, like you imagine some of the brands, I'll talk about Reebok because we worked with Reebok before, or Miss You or whatever. They're definitely not going to come and sit in a channel and talk to people in the community about, their shop or token sentiment and stuff like that. They're going to follow from afar. I know that's not a popular opinion, but that's the truth. And I think anyone who's involved in any of the whale groups know that they don't often join Telegram and Discord channels. So aside from buying with RFOX, what other connections are there from RFOX to Final Dungeon? So one of the things, Hanford, is that we're looking at, as you know, with the NFT Whitelabel platform, is we're looking at trying to give grants for people that want to actually roll out and deliver value to the RFOX community in different ways. So there's lots of different ways that people can do that. It can be incorporating RFOX as a form of payment, it can be whitelist spots, it can be NFTs, it can be a lot of different things, tokens. Some of them want to do tokens in farms. So there's a number of different things that can actually be done. And what we're trying to do is entertain the people that are going to provide the most value back to the RFOX ecosystem. And I know that someone asked the question before in relation to second layer 2. The thing that I think, Pete, you said we're not at liberty to say. I think we've sort of made it clear on some of the ones that we're going to use. One of them we made mention of on last Friday's Discord call, if you were here, when we talked about upcoming whitelist spots. So we've made no secret about that since day one. But I think that all I can tell you is that we've got a lot of people asking why more people don't know about the Whitelabel platform, and when are we going to start to sort of do an overall type of marketing. And by that, what I mean is to the businesses who want to build, and the fact that it's going to allow people to onboard. As Pete said, the ETH part's been activated already, and now the EVM side of things easy to trigger and activate. So once we've got this round of applicants through and processed, then we can start to sort of roll that out. But I think it's fair to say, Pete, like on the calls last night when we were talking to chains, they either think that what we're talking about is not real or not possible, or they can't understand if it exists, why everyone doesn't know about it, because it does solve a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Is that fair, Pete?
That call, yes, that is 100% fair. But that call was something that, I wish I could, let these guys listen to, because that's what, we're doing, and that's what the industry is thinking. That's the direction where, the industry is moving forward. And a lot of people are thinking that, oh, that's not doable, but we're doing it. So, yeah.
Will the revised white paper add value to VFOX, RFOX, or both? The answer to that is both. So we don't try and create things that just add value to one. I think that you'll find that the mechanics that we're looking at floating are quite well thought through and thought out. We want to make sure that it impacts both, 100% both. So yes, we're not going to do things in isolation. Have all the shop owners, if they are still hiding, they'll be hunted down and shot. I think that what you'll find is that, as I stated to you guys, and I've said this many times, I know that people have been frustrated with the speed of which stuff has been sort of leaked or coming, or what we've shown and what we could do to actually enhance that. And I know that it's not that the shop owners have had a chance to walk through, and some other people are starting to come in now. And I know that the feedback's very good, but the fact is that we are very much of the opinion that this is going to get done right, and there'll be a little bit of a peek to that tonight. Yeah, I'll let that speak for itself. But ultimately, the team that we've got now is really working on making sure that we don't only go out as quickly as we can, that's physically possible, but we also want to make sure that we are a market leader and that it takes a fair bit of catching to catch us. So yes, it will all make sense when you see and what we're going through. Callinova MVP second, I finally managed to jump into water. My life is complete. Yeah, Lars, there's lots of little cheats and hacks. As I was saying, I took my son in there, and within a few minutes he was standing on top of the dome. And I didn't know how he'd done that, but there's some pretty cool little features or bugs that are pretty fun. It is epic, and the thing is, we want to show it to as many people as we possibly can, as quickly as we can, but also we're also mindful of how this space is. So you guys will know this better than anybody. Remember a while back we showed a video of a walkthrough, probably one of the latest ones, and we said this is a work in progress. This is what it looks like at this particular point in time, and there's still heaps of stuff to go. We put the whole caveat and everything out there, and if you read the comments, people said this is the metaverse, the finished product. It's got so much that still needs to be done, because people don't read the captions, right? So when you do sort of show those progress updates and you do show people where you're at and what you're actually building, people treat that as though it's the final product. And that's why it's really important that our first iteration goes out with VR, because we want people to get the full experience. We want people to understand what that wow factor is in VR. And show that that's the case, because we know what this market's like and the industry's like. It's very competitive and cutthroat. People would take a photo, take a screenshot of the app or whatever and go, weak VR or something like that. So it's a very a difficult balance to sort of show people the journey, take people with us. So that's why we're doing it bit by bit. We're even giving away headsets to bring people through as well. So if you've been through, let me know. So 6 weeks for AAA graphics. Remember, when do you expect Callinova to be open for the public and ready, and event shop sales revenue accumulation? So we're working on the deliverable date for that, and we'll give that to you as soon as we possibly can, Lars. We want to make sure that that's right. But the thing that we're trying to do is make sure that that's part of the reason for the economic model as well, is to make sure that we've got that value structure in place, and you know that that's coming as soon as we could possibly implement that. But this will also provide value back to the shop owners. And as I said to you, we hinted that people like shop owners will be the most benefited by this upcoming model. And like I said, it would make the previous sales for Arkamoto look like an absolute bargain. Put an order for my new Rolls Royce. Colin, one of my mates made this for me. Oh, that's cool. One for you, Fadz. Fadz, what lessons have we learned from the IAPF KOGs sale to take RFOX Games to the next level?
Hello. So when we launched the sale window, we had a bit of a technical hiccup in terms of allowing new types of payment channels into the ecosystem, right? So back in the day when we launched our editions, we used purely Atomic Hub as a page for us to be able to do those launches. But as we evolved over time, we started adding BSC and then RFOX on Wax. I think it's the first time we're using RFOX on Wax, right, Pete?
Yes.
And then we had credit card payment channels as well. So a lot of these things are part of our aim to facilitate people who don't typically just want to buy using Atomic Hub. So there was a bit of a learning curve in terms of implementation as well as putting the whole solution together. But we've had quite a bit of findings as well from where we were not able to deliver the expected customer experience. So we wanna make it better and better as we launch more editions or release more products over time. But I think in general, for the first deployment of all these things at the same time, it was a good start. We just want to make sure that when we do another edition, we take a look. There's an incident report as well that we set up every time we get into situations where there's a hiccup in terms of implementation. So those findings really help our team to improve the customer experience the next time we launch it. Yep, correct as well, madam. So the RFOX amount is something we noted as well. I think it was a lot easier to see in Wax, but then for RFOX, you didn't know what was the actual amount that you were spending. What is the next big thing from RFOX Games? So these days, I think we spend most of our time on two major things. One is the KML, Mint Lab partnerships that we've kicked off last week. And then the other one is game developer partnerships with other companies that want to come into our ecosystem and we develop together the game for them. So we've had a few very interesting concepts that we were very keen on pursuing. One is Puzzle and Dragons using KOGs, and another concept that we looked at was also potentially making KOGs playable like Beyblades as well. So we are pushing to have some commitment on their side in terms of timelines as well as delivery. So all those games that are coming into the ecosystem, like we mentioned before, is supposed to make the tubes that you have already purchased usable in those other games. So once we lock down the business model, which is essentially you play the game for free, but then when you want to enter a tournament or enter the leaderboard, you need a tube to be able to get those prizes. When can we expect to hear which developers are working for free? Well, we hope to sign the contract this week at this. We've been in talks with this particular company for a month, but Phil is filling up his daily, one of his daily tasks is essentially reaching out to a lot of developers that he's acquainted with, and then they will pitch to us how they want to develop their game into our ecosystem using KOGs and tubes and potentially RFOX as well. So there was, like I said before, there was a lot of learnings that we were we learned from the deployment of Slam and KOGs using KOGs as well, and a lot of it was based off the fact that we faced a lot of problems with the APIs that were given to us or what we were using. So moving forward, we want to depend less on those APIs and then move it more to servers. But there will be some dependency on those APIs, especially when you need to track what is in the wallet of that particular player. Eventually, what we want to do is also move our assets into our own marketplace. where you can purchase using other currencies other than wax. So imagine there will be like potentially a marketplace specifically for RFOX games where all the different tubes will be there, and then somebody coming in for another game will just go in and buy the tube that they need, but then somebody from another game can sell it that tube that they don't want or have earned. So we want to move out from just using Atomic Hub as the marketplace where people collect and trade tubes. I want to use RFOX to buy and sell KOGs. But that's the thing, Atis. That's the end game for us, because whatever economy that we're building benefits wax in terms of volume, and I don't think that's right? So if we start using RFOX to buy and sell KOGs, we will definitely need to use RFOX instead of wax, because that just shows the amount of volume that is being traded. When we're getting info on bad days, slam KOGs and IAPF taking rewards, we have the list already, madam. So I think there was a bit of people screaming about, oh, it's too low and stuff like that. But you have to take into account, it's like special editions and special editions and editions. So don't expect the same kind of staking window rewards as you get from the editions. The standard sets and the perfect sets for the special editions are a lot easier to build versus some of the edition sets that you see from first, second, and third. Hopefully, if everything is okay and the team is comfortable, we should be able to release maybe end of this week. But we've already released some teasers regarding how much is the staking window for IAPF and bad days. So it was 250,000 RFOX for bad days and IAPF as well. So you have 250k for bad days, 250k for IAPF. The rest of the staking window, which is 2.5, belongs to Slam, which is going to reward Slam KOGs and Arena KOGs.
But that's just getting back to your first part point. I think you were talking about the valuable thing. We know that secondary market volumes drive primary market sales. So that's the focus for making sure that we have a lot of functionality, utility, and going forwards. And like I said, with one of the economic models that we drive, or part of the economic model we drive for the Vault going forwards, we'll focus on value at many different levels and layers. Very shortly, I think we can do something. Can't we, Piyush?
Absolutely, we can. We actually have something that we would like to show everyone tonight.
What we're going to do is show you something that's very much concept, but just to give you an indication of something that is, what you saw in the beginning from concept. So did everybody remember the first type of concept thing that we did as far as a drawing, like a hand drawn picture of Callinova from the very, very beginning? And then what we did was we took that picture and turned that into a visitable walkthrough on an Oculus headset and all the rest of it. You'll notice that what you saw from the picture to the actual walkthrough has some sort of variation and all the rest of it. But what we wanted to do was just give an indication of some of the clever things that we're focused on, like theme integration and making sure there was a lot more thought going into that. So I guess one of the criticisms previously was how could you put more effort into integrating the themes into there. And as we stated, we believe that we could completely redo and make that much better than it was before. So what we show you is concept-based, subject to change, but is our guidance towards where we're headed. And I think this will give you a really good indication.
Benny?
Yes.
Benny, do you mind if I repeat that one more time for everyone?
Yes.
Guys, this is just the concept. It's just to give you an indication of where we are headed and what kind of colors and designs we have in mind, and what the kind of universe we are intending to create. This is not final, but this shows you the details we are trying to build for the music quarter, and you'll see that in the image that we're about to show you next.
And also, Piyush, one more thing before we do that. So if your question relates to what about Callinova and Archimoto, as stated, it is redoing, and the great part about something like Callinova is we can actually show you the upgrade by actually walking you through that in the not too distant future. And the goal would be to get Music Quarter to a state where before we do an option for Music Quarter, we can actually make it so that you can have a basic walkthrough and have a look at what you're actually purchasing and buying into. So, all right, I've sort of given a prelude. You've sort of made sure you've talked that down a little bit, Piyush, which is good. Let's do it.
Can we just repeat that it is concept and it is not the final product?
Of course, you'll know that. You'll know that by looking at it, because you can't walk around with a headset on that. But at least it's I think the thing that people want is progress, right? And it's becoming much more of a space race now. It's becoming much more competitive. So I think it's really good to sort of, there you go. I think it's really good to sort of show you, give you indications, but be very careful about, here it comes, be very careful about making sure that we've set that expectation and you understand it. But this is what you get for coming to the channel. You get to see it prior to everybody else.
Hey, Piyush, we're showing them the full product, right?
We are showing them just the one picture. One picture. I sent you nothing more than that. At least not tonight. If you guys come back on Friday, we might have another trick up our sleeves.
Wow.
Boom.
We might.
Pretty amazing.
But again, where'd you put it?
Streaming it.
Streaming it.
Oh, he's streaming it.
It looks like a painting.
You're doing it, Pete.
Yes, I'm doing it.
It is. It's a concept art.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's what we effectively did for the first. When we first showed you back and we did our website updates and all the rest of it. This is what we started with. And then we said, right, we're building that. So now we've got some. Can anyone tell us comment on what they can see? How the theme's been injected into the concept?
2 gay men.
What's in the back? What's in the background? What's the building?
Is it piano?
Correct.
And you got a ghetto blaster as well.
Yeah. And obviously that's one little sneak peek we'll show you because the whole thing's been sort of drawn out. So on Friday we can show you more. But there's lots of little Easter egg goodies in there. Yes, so music. No, Josh, no. We'll show other ones later, but need more Cyberpunk. So that's more the games quarter. So the games quarter is much more that theme. So yeah, for sure, madame. I think once you actually go back to Callinova and what we showed you on the walkthrough and all the rest of it, and then compare this, and it's just light years apart. Just different quality teams, different, 100% different quality. And we want to make it so that we go out and say we've put a gap between what exists in the market and what we've got. What you don't want to do is put something out that's sort of, reasonably competitive or equal to what's in the market. You want to go out and say, here you go, here's the new benchmark. And that thought process, because of the unique selling proposition being retail and e-commerce, and having the things built into the actual quarters in the architecture, gives us a situation where that provides something truly unique. So once we get back to circle back to people like you, Josh, who get to walk through and Lars and have a look at your upgraded environment, and that's why the economic paper is going to be very important, because that's going to give so many spoilers, it's ridiculous. That you'll get an indication of exactly where this thing's going. So, like I said, our goal is to make sure that we reward and make sure that people understand that they're getting a lot more value than they paid for, and you were early to the party. So it shouldn't just be a situation of thank you for backing us, see you later. It should be thank you for backing us, and we're continually working and pushing to try and make sure that you get something that's more than you expected. And that economic model will show that that just keeps giving and giving and giving, and that's what's really, really important for us. And I think that what you'll find is that by the time we get to the music quarters walkthrough and you can actually see stuff, I think it's going to be a game changer as far as value is concerned compared to what the first two went for.
Excuse me.
No, actual posters would be better. That's pretty. Yeah, it might be. Madame, go back to old school. You could even have the NFT that's redeemable for art. I don't know if anyone's been watching, but I think that what's it called? Henny, H-E-N-I, the Damien Hirst, those types of artworks that are coming out now that you buy the NFT and then you redeem it for the physical art piece. I think it's fantastic that these world famous artists that are cost prohibitive for the normal punter to get into can actually get a more mass produced version of amazing art for an affordable price. Lots of cool stuff happening in the space. When's the economic paper expected to be released? Sorry, it's already been released. Looking at finishing the draft now, tonight, after this, and then it will be handed back to the team to pick holes in it. And as I said, shout out to Red Pill, who gave a lot of help in that initial sit down and discovery. And now we've got to just make sure that the back math adds up, because what we want to do is make sure that, starting with the shop owners, that they get tremendous value. But then what we want to be able to do is bring people who are not shop owners into that system and make the vault more appealing to a wider audience that will stay engaged with the progress and the progression of the vault as we go. But just I want to pose a question to you guys now that you've seen what we just showed you. Do you understand the difference between what was shown to you previously versus and what you can actually see now? Like Josh and Lars are shop owners. Can you imagine if you've got that much level of detail, that much thought process that's gone into it, just the light years difference between what you were seeing before and what is now about to get delivered? It is miles different. And we, like I said to you, before Zuckerberg came out and started talking about metaverses and all the rest of it, a lot of people were still in the dark. You guys were early, so you were in our ecosystem and you understood what we were trying to do, albeit relatively hard to explain when you don't have a reference point. But ultimately, that's brought the spotlight into the space. There'll be tons of people in 5 years dropping stuff that's mind-blowing. So what we have to do is have that unique selling proposition, and as I said, put light between us and what's currently in the space. And the number of people that are reaching out to us to sort of say, can you help deploy something for us or a white label version, shows that we're going to get to market much quicker than any of these people that are starting building or have only been building for 6 months or so. So we understand that there's a knock-on effect for sort of upgrading and making sure that it's much better than it was. But the fact is, wouldn't have sat right with us if we had have put it out the way that we had it previously. Just wasn't good enough to be able to sort of have a light differential between what exists and what would have existed in the very near future. So Gralek, that's a very fair question. So curious about the timing of something working, to be honest. So Gralek, if you walk through now, you'd see that there's shops. You can go into the shops, that there's the pop-ups on buy, sell, trade, all the rest of it. So Pete, so as far as the timing is concerned, it's a matter of the asset creation, so the finalization of the theme and the asset creation. But technically speaking, how long would it take to turn on what's there now, Pete, from a contract perspective, from purchasing?
Purchasing, my guys are already working on it.
But roughly from timelines, if you wanted to be able to go in and purchase those things now,
from a purchasing perspective, right now, I think we're looking at maybe 2 weeks tops to go in and actually click on the button and buy. But that's just the purchase.
So there you go.
In the existing world.
Understood.
In the existing world.
Yeah. So
So
Gralec,
many tools
as it currently,
we're looking at.
yep. So as it currently exists, Gralec, you're talking about the something working. To be honest, so the timing of something working from current state is 2 weeks, but from the purpose of redesign and making sure, obviously, we understand that we don't want this to drag on for an extended period of time. So we're employing external teams as well as the internal teams to try and double down on making sure that we get this stuff right and turned around. So the idea is not to drag this out for the next, 2 years and all the rest of it. It's a matter of like saying, okay, how quickly can we get these concepts back to us and replace the stuff that we've got? So as far as something working, that can physically happen in 2 weeks, but it's a matter of making sure that we redo this the right way. So it's not like we were miles and miles and miles and miles and miles away, and we're still miles and miles and miles away. This now comes down to design, aesthetics, and making sure that that's all okay. What is the coolest activity function you've played within the Vault? I think, to be honest, I think we could probably all answer that, and especially those people that have been in there. It's more about the discovery. So for me, I want to run around and explore stuff and have a look at go behind things and have a look in behind the buildings and stuff like that. Be interested to hear what you guys say. That concept looks great, but for me, graphics really doesn't matter at this stage. The fact that Callinova actually works in VR with NFT listing and everything is insane. Nobody else has done anything close to that. People need to see it to understand graphics will evolve over the next 10 years. So just on that point, Lars, I've mentioned this in AMAs and in discussions. We understand that once people get in and they get over that first look around at the graphics, you're right, should play a secondary role. It shouldn't be all about that. It should be about the functionality and the products and services that are in there for sure and certain. But it's more the first initial wow factor and the benchmark and the professionalism of what you've actually rolled out. But yes, 100% we agree with that fully. Some people will always flame every bug they see, but most people love to walk through and are begging for more. I was saying to you, my son found tons of cool things, but he is actually begging me to employ him to work a few hours a week, and he wants to run in there and try and find stuff and absolutely loves it. So I think that it's good to look at things through a child's eyes as well, especially those that spend tons of time in Roblox and all the common platforms. RFOX Vault Twitter currently has 6,000 followers while the product is out in MVP. Does not reflect the product I'm seeing every day. We need to see people to see it and understand it. Yes, 100%. And that's what we have to push for. We will allow full live streaming as soon as Callinova is redone. Yes, 100%. Agree with everything you've said. What VR product experience will RFOX Games be bringing alongside Vault? I have a feel there is a VR game coming from RFOX Games.
Yeah, we're trying to experiment with developers who are pitching to us as well, like the Beyblade one. I know this is still in discussion, but what they're pitching to us is that you could actually have a Beyblade kind of stadium in the Vault where you can actually play competitively with your KOGs there. So because the whole metaverse is VR, we are able to start discussing this kind of stuff with them at this stage, because it will be a few months away after they delivered the mobile version of the game. And then after that, when we start discussing internally with the teams managing the Vault, the extension of the game should be quite natural for us and not too much of a hurdle. But we just want to make sure that we release, like we mentioned before, release as many games as we can, manage this year with utility for KOGs, and then we start flexing on all the utility cases as much as we can.
Craigo, forgive the very uneducated question, please. Do you build the structure first or the amazing graphic structure? I mean, working systems to buy, sell, ride, roller coaster, etc. Actually, Craigo, that's not an uneducated question at all. I have to handle that to Pete. So Pete, you might not even know, but if we're building the roller coaster side of things, what gets built first?
Yeah, so first things first is the picture that we just showed you. That's concept art. That needs to be there first. So the artist draws the concept art, what the vision of, how does the quarter look like and all that. This is how the buildings look like. After that, you go through building the assets of the structures, right? Think like wireframes of the assets, right? You need to design every single building, the trees, the bridges, and all that could be probably used from the previous quarters. For example, like a tree in Callinova may look like the tree in the music quarter. If we need a different tree, we have to build that tree, right? And then put all that together, and then you get a scene, which is basically like a big empty world. And then on top of that, you'll get all the textures put on, like a tree, you're gonna have leaves on there. If there's a river, you're gonna dump water in there. The buildings, you're gonna have so-called like paint or windows and all that. And then if needed to, on top of that, then you build functionality, like buttons to click, if you have an NFT for sale, for example, in the shop, right? All that is functionality. We have to, pull that image from somewhere, right? From a marketplace, from your collection. And then if you're selling that, a button will appear, and then we'll have to build functionality for that button. Like, if you click the button, it goes to Atomic Hub to initiate the contract for the purchase of that particular NFT, right? For in case of the roller coaster, same thing. You got to build the wireframe of the roller coaster, right? The cars, the loop thingy, the track, and all that. And maybe you want to have people there or robots there manning the station. All of that is done, and then you build functionality, as in how does the car move on the roller coaster? Can you fly off the roller coaster? Can you drop from the roller coaster? All that rules are built in part of the game. Hopefully that answers your not uneducated question, because that's a very good question.
Yeah. Face right now, Callinova is very clean and bright space, but for me, it's a bit sterile. Picture suggests a more enclosed and atmospheric vibe. That's important, Face, and it's good that you picked up on that, because that's 100% the case. The thing is that we understand, as was stated previously, that the artwork is going to be the sort of initial wow, but the fact is that it's all about the products and services and what engages people within the environment, right? So we understand, and you'll see this with the economic paper, that the social factor and the environmental factor is extremely important to us. And the reason that you have quarters as opposed to one big open space is because you can get that atmospheric type of environment where it doesn't feel like one of these places where you walk for days before you find another living soul. It feels like some apocalypse zombie movie. So that's really important. So I appreciate that. Any plans to bring Paul Barron or Wendy O into the vault? So we're actually talking to several people along those lines from the influencer side. So yes, there's plans. Should have some exclusive AMA walkthrough with one of them, get thousands of people watching the very first public walkthrough, not from a YouTube video like the ads were. 100% Ninja. If only we had some sort of a streaming service or something we had access to, we'd be able to do that, wouldn't we? We might have that, mightn't we?
You got to build one. Oh, wait.
It's not only the VR. Yeah, we should build one. Oh, yeah, that's exactly right. Here you go. It's better to stream it from our stuff than from other people's, right? It's not only the VR, the most important part is that it's capable to run on PC or phone, 100%. How many people already have a VR headset? Not many. It's all about focus here, 100%. The thing is that the initial focus or the initial build will give people that wow factor and experience, but 100%, right, we completely understand the audience that we're dealing with. We understand that it's going to take some time for headsets to become affordable, and that's going to happen over time as demand increases, and I think that will come very quickly. And as stated to you previously, we've also entertained the thought of talking to, and we're actually trialing some hardware, because it's something that we're looking into as well, is to how do we make this more accessible? How do we potentially get this into more people's hands as well to experience in that format? Is that through staking rewards? Is it through giveaways? Is it through competitions? How do we get more people to, how do we help more people get their hands on a headset as well? But 100%, if it's not able to be used on another device, then we'll never get the adoption. Yes, Callinova is going to change, it's going to be much, much better. 100%. And I think the good thing is that the closest we can get, Josh, to being able to say, well, you guys are going to say the APK upgrades, but what I mean from a public perspective is to go from that day and night flick switch transition of transition of what was to what is 20 times better is going to be mind blowing. And our objective is to provide a lot of value back to you guys as original and initial investors, but B, to also sort of make it a wow experience for you guys as well. We want it to be that you walk through and say, holy shit, this is so much better than I thought it was going to be. That's really important. This means BTC crashing. Is it actually crashing?
No, that's a joke. That says whenever Garlic says he has work to do, that means he's crashing.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, is it actually crashing? I think it's been like
I got no idea.
I think it was like 4 weeks in a row. 4 weeks in a row, we had we were coming to the end of this call, and Bitcoin started to misbehave and be its normal bipolar self. Beyblade's a game would be a good play to earn game. Set up your Beyblade with the cogs to adjust its stats and let it rip. I'll have to let you comment on that, Fadz. That's not my forte or world. I don't even know what that is.
Definitely, Atis. So we this just came across to me probably like yesterday, Phil. So he's been in discussion with them for quite a while now, guiding them onto what are the requirements for us on our side. So when we talk to a developer, we tell them this is what we need, and they pitch to us the concept, and then they basically start exploring within that concept itself all the utility cases, right? So for example, when you're playing Beyblade, or our version of the Beyblade, what happens is that if you have one of those fergs, when you spin it and you let it go within the arena itself, there's particle effects that is specific to very, very high end cogs, and that's just one part of it. But we also need to see what are the other. I mean, most Beyblades have 3 parts, if I'm not mistaken, right? So those other things also add to the rarity as well, and the utility of the cogs that you have. So we're trying to make it another game where you flex, but they also have a lot of different use cases for it as well. So it's not just like, you have the a nice ferg right now, and you just basically show it off as a slammer. But if we put it in Beyblade, then the other things you can get out of the cog other than just the aesthetics. So right now, I think it's probably maybe a week or so away in terms of discussions and back and forth, but we already have one game. So I think the Puzzle and Dragons concept one is the one that is most likely to push forward first, right, Phil?
Yep.
So once we have that and they sign, we will do the announcement. So the announcement will tell you basically what the timelines will look like, what are the utility cases for the tubes that you have, and what kind of play to earn mechanism will be in that game. So that's just the first. And then while we are already implementing the first game that comes out, we'll get another contract signed, and then they will start implementing. So there's, instead of us being the developer, we're effectively transitioning to a publisher as well, because a lot of these gaming companies actually want to come into the NFT space, but we are the ones with the ecosystem and community, right? So it's a win-win for both of us.
Just one last thing from me, because I know there's a couple more questions. I just wanted to say to you that just to reiterate that we've made a fair bit of we've made a fair effort to make sure that we're giving you a bit more exposure. We're being very transparent, and we're trying to give you the updates in relation to the Vault. And if you have any issues, talk to me, direct them at me. I'm the one who now sits in the seat, and I'm accountable now. So I'm trying to make sure that you get that visibility. And as it's been mentioned before, a lot of you are having to sort of, or you're saying that you're relying on my word that we will deliver whatever it is that we're delivering. I take that stuff very seriously, and I think those who know me know that that is 100% our focus, is to make sure that we give back to you guys, and we make sure that you get rewarded for being early investors. So that's why we're doing more of these calls. We're front and center. We're here. I'm accountable for whatever happens. So I want you to just be aware that that's what we're working on. That's why we're striving forward to try and also create these types of economic models that give back further and give you more value. So that is the promise. And I get the comments of that you have to sort of rely on, I'm in the hot seat. Come to me if you've got any issues. But the fact is that, like I said, we'll be as transparent. We'll walk you through every step of it as we go. We'll show you as much as we possibly can. We'll try and make sure that we give giveaways to get people in. And I think once you see this type of economic model that we're introducing, you'll know that we're 100% serious on focusing on that social side, the engagement side, and making sure that those of you who are in here now, you talk about the fact that Valt, Twitter might only have 6,000 followers or whatever. The fact is, if you are able to sort of take advantage of the systems that we're putting in place now, you'll be thankful that there's only that amount now, because it won't stay that way. I think, to be honest, you know, I was reading that thing on Axie saying that had, I think it was what some of you will know better than I did. I think it's something ridiculous. I don't want to get the numbers wrong, but it was something like they had a $2 million budget or forecast. Ramses, you might know as well. I think they had a $2 million forecast or whatever it was for the year or the period, and they ended up getting into like 9 or 10 figures in a very short period of time. It just hit an inflection point and just went whoosh and just took off. The thing is that if you get the right formula in this space, the targeted projections can just go through the window, through the roof. It's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time, and that's the thing. We know that we're in the right place at the right time for what we're building and clicking together. People are starting to get their heads around it a bit more, and now got a really solid marketing team who are working on a long-term plan for how to project what it is that we're building to people in a digestible way. So the quicker we can give the visuals to that and make some more high-class ads that show how the products work, that's going to go a hugely long way. But people like Pete who are coming to some of these calls are hearing what the clients and the people outside are saying, and it just gives you that electric energy of going back and saying, shit, how do we better get this information into the end user's hands, and how do we make sure that we can onboard these people and work that out? And being 100% transparent with you, we've still got products that are being rolled out and developed now that we're still trying to work out the right type of charging model for, because of the fact that we're so early and companies come in with different prerequisites, different requirements, depending on where they're regulated and set up. And it's a matter of working with each of them on a deal. And our space race is working out how to define 3 or so actual offerings from pricing and product structure, so that we don't have to go through individual negotiations every time we're dealing with something. So that's our race at the moment, to try and work that out, because everybody's got a different idea. And as you know, this space evolves so quickly. Concepts like Looks Rare and OpenDAO and stuff just pop up out of nowhere, and they become the new trend. So everybody then expects that that's what they want as well. So we have to be very structured, but we also have to be open to being agile in the way we present ourselves and offer our products as well. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you enjoyed that sneak peek, and we'll give more of that on Friday. I did promise I'd give away a gold slammer as well, which we'll do. But yes, any last questions before we leave? Okay. Thank you very much for joining us, guys, again. Let us know if there's anything that we can answer. But like I say, front and center, fully accountable, 3 nights a week to answer your questions. And we're working as fast as we can to make sure that you are very much a part of this journey. And as you can see, making sure that we create models that give back to you guys.
Yeah, I got 42 members in voice chat right now. I'm going to go do a wheel right now. So Benny, yeah, after you leave, I'll just do the wheel, and then if you win, I know your wallet.
So wait till the bad guy leaves, and then be the good guy.
No, you're the good guy. I'm the bad guy. I'm the troll.
Thank you very much, guys. Hope you do well on the wheel. Have a fantastic night, and we'll see you on Friday night.
Cheers, Benny.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot, Benny.